So next up for this one, you have the maximum R value, just like the previous one, and that is when theta is equal to 0. So the maximum R value would be 3. So that would be here. And now, what is the minimum R value here? It will be when theta is equal to pi. And what's cosine of pi? Cosine of pi is -1. -1 times 2 is -2. And 1 minus 2 is -1. So we have a negative R value here when we have pi. So the point is right here. Okay, I hope you can see why the point is actually right here, because you are facing the pi direction, but the R value is -1. So you go to the opposite direction. Now, other values that's also worth mentioning here, it's when you have pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. For both of these two values, cosine of them would be 0. So you have just 1. Okay. All right. Now, there are other values that's worth mentioning, such as what values? Quadrant 2 and quadrant 3 would be 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3. Okay. Now, if you look at these two values, what's cosine of 2 pi over 3? We say, well, cosine of 2 pi over 3 is -1/2. And -1/2 times 2, it's -1. 1 minus 1 is 0. The same is true when you look at cosine of 4 pi over 3. Cosine of 4 pi over 3, it's -1/2 times 2, which gives you -1. 1 minus 1 would be 0. So, so what you can see here is that you have a little very interesting graph that goes like this. Because of the negative R value, it creates this loop. And we call this shape, let me use a purple color, inner loop. And then we have a little Portuguese word here. Now, anyone speaks Portuguese here? Anybody? Nobody? Fantastic. So let me ask you a question. Have you seen this fruit before? How do you say this word? Say again? Açaí, all right? Now, I went to Brazil quite a few years ago and joined a food tour. And the tour guide, he was introducing this fruit. And he said, you know, a lot of people, they pronounce this word wrong. Acai, ashai, or atai, or whatever that you can imagine. And then he said, the correct pronunciation is açaí. Okay? The C with a little tail at the bottom, you can pronounce it as a S sound. S sound. So açaí, that's the fruit. And right here, we call this inner loop limaçon. Inner loop limaçon. So that's what's happening, okay? Because of the appearance of a negative R value, you have this inner loop. And then for the sine function, down below, 1 plus 2 sine theta, we say, well, the R value will be the greatest. It's going to be at 3 when theta is equal to pi over 2. Okay, it's going to be -1 when it is 3 pi over 2. So we have something right here. And then we also do the same thing like what we did earlier above. We say, well, other values of interest would be, what is sine 0? Well, sine 0 is just 0. So we have here. And what about pi? Well, same thing. Okay. Well, anything else? Yeah, because we have something like 7 pi over 6. and then 11 pi over 6. And what you find out when you do a sine of 7 pi over 6, that gives you negative 1/2. Negative 1/2 times 2, which is negative 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. And the same is true for theta when theta is equal to 11 pi over 6. So that's how you have this inner loop limaçon. I'm going to say facing up. Okay. So that's a reason behind this. Okay. So that's the inner loop limaçon. So if we have cardioid and inner loop limaçon right here. Okay.